there's a very special place you can visit anytime you want to. A place just for kids and friendly little airplanes. The world of JJ the Jet Plane and his flying friends. Don't miss JJ's first flight. You'll see Herky light up the night sky and get a bird's eye view of old Oscar's daring dive.
Whoa!
You'll follow Tracy through an endless rainbow and go with Big Jake and JJ on a high-flying piggyback ride. In Old Oscar Leads the Parade, you'll find out how JJ gets his blue color. Then take a front row seat for Tracy's thrilling race.
She's got a shot at the record.
You'll also attend Snuffy's birthday party.
Gee, I thought nobody remembered.
And watch Old Oscar lead a grand air parade. Now you can join JJ's fan club. Members receive a cotton t-shirt with JJ's picture on the front and an Easy Airlines pilot's license with your name on it. Join in the fun. Collect all the JJ videos. You'll be giving your child sweet dreams, wholesome lessons, and precious memories that will last a lifetime.
Way down in Terrytown, there's a special way to get around. It's the only way I've ever found to play above the ground. Zooming along the treetops, zipping way up in the sky. Zigging and zagging, forgive me for bragging, but gee how I love to fly. Zooming along the treetops, zipping way up in the sky. Zip, zip, zoom-a-loom, zigzag, zig-a-zoom, gee how I love to. Zip, zip, zoom-a-loom, zigzag, zig-a-zoom, gee how I love to fly.
In the moments just before daybreak, JJ was flitting to and fro in the sky over Terrytown Airport. The little blue jet was watching and waiting for the dawn. The instant he spotted the first rays of the sun, he grinned, then zoomed down for a landing. JJ hurried to the hangar where Big Jake was still asleep.
Come on, Big Jake, come on!
He cried.
Sun's up, it's time to go!
Big Jake opened his eyes, smiled at the excited little jet, and said teasingly, "Oh, JJ, are you sure you really want to go?"
Come on, Big Jake!
JJ pleaded.
You said we'd get an early start.
Soon, JJ and Big Jake were on their way for a winter vacation. Their destination was the tropical island of Pangabula. It's where many years ago, Big Jake first saw the sparkleberry tree.
Away across the sparkling sea grows something some kids never see.
A magical island is speciality, the lovely and amazing sparkleberry tree. Bing, pang, bing, pangaboola, come and I'll introduce you. Folks love to say howdy-do-ya.
They're in Pangaboola, la la.
When it got dark, they stopped to rest at an island with coral pink sand. Rolling side by side along a moonlit stretch of beach, JJ said,
Tell me again about the sparkleberry tree, Big Jake.
"The last time I saw it was some 10 years ago," Big Jake said. "It's a big, beautiful tree with long, sturdy branches that reach up to the sky. And each branch is filled with hundreds of sparkleberries, red ones, and yellow ones, and green ones, and orange ones, and purple ones. Every color you can think of. And each night, all the little sparkleberries glow in the moonlight, just like the lights on a Christmas tree. At the crack of dawn, JJ and Big Jake were on their way again.
It's the prettiest place in all of the ocean.
The waves and the trees make the prettiest motion.
The air, it is clear. The flamingo, he goes on. There in Pangaboo, la la la. Ping, hang, ping, Pangaboo, la hum. And I'll introduce you. Folks love to say,
Howdy do ya?
there in Pangaboo, la la la.
Finally, on the distant horizon, Big Jake spotted the island.
There she is, JJ. Pangaboola.
We'll be there before you know it. They landed on a gorgeous beach lined with tall palm trees.
Wow,
JJ gushed.
it's beautiful here. Stop that coconut!
Someone yelled. Big Jake saw a coconut rolling toward him from the trees. He inched forward and it tumbled to a stop against his wheel.
Oh, thank you.
The voice said. Big Jake and JJ saw the head of a young man peeking out from a palm tree.
They call me Lucky.
The young man said.
I'm JJ, and this is Big Jake. We came to see the sparkleberry tree. That's strange. No one comes to see the tree anymore.
Lucky said.
Why not?
Asked JJ. Climbing down the palm tree, Lucky said,
Follow me. I will show you.
Lucky led them to a beautiful lagoon. And there in a clearing was a very sick-looking sparkleberry tree. It was so wilted and weak that its once proud branches almost touched the ground.
What happened to the sparkleberry tree?
Big Jake howled. Lucky looked ashamed.
We did not take good care of it,
He said. JJ studied the sad-looking tree and said in disbelief,
That's the sparkleberry tree? That's right.
Lucky said.
People came from all over the world to see it. They wanted souvenirs. They broke its branches. They plucked its berries. And now the tree that we thought would always be here is very, very sick. Isn't there anything we can do?
Asked JJ.
We can try,
Big Jake said.
but it may be too late.
For the rest of the day, Big Jake and JJ helped Lucky prune and feed and water the tree. By the time darkness came, they had done everything they could do. That night, JJ and Big Jake watched over the sick tree. In the moonlight, JJ saw the faint glow of one small sparkleberry, and he wondered if all their hard work would make the tree healthy again.
Big Jake, why didn't the people take care of the tree?
He asked.
Well, JJ, it's sad, but sometimes people are careless, and sometimes they don't appreciate what they have until it's gone.
That night, JJ had a dream. He dreamed that he was looking up at a stately tree, its many colorful berries glowing in the moonlight. When he awoke the next morning, JJ saw the sun shimmering through the sparkleberry tree. Then his eyes opened wide.
Big Jake, wake up, wake up!
He cried.
What is it, JJ? What's wrong?
What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Take a look.
Big Jake looked up, and lo and behold, there was the sparkleberry tree, standing straight up, looking good as new. JJ was so happy, he shot up over the lagoon and did a double backward somersault. Big Jake and Lucky examined the sparkleberry tree.
This is one lucky tree, Big Jake said. It's been given a second chance.
We on Pangabula are lucky too, said Lucky. We have been given a second chance to take care of it.
Big Jake looked into Lucky's happy eyes and said, I know you will take very good care of it, my friend. JJ dipped low over the lagoon and cried,
But just to make sure, we'll be back someday real soon.
Ping, pang, ping, pangaboola. Soon we'll return out to you. Then we'll say howdy do again in Pangaboola, la la.
We gotta come here again.
Early one evening, the planes of Easy Airlines looked up to see a most unusual sight. Hanging low in the sky over Tarrytown Valley was a great big golden full moon.
I've never seen a moon like that before,
Old Oscar said. Big Jake agreed.
It's so big and bright,
You can see clear across the valley, he said. JJ and Tracy looked out from the hangar in amazement.
Hey, Tracy, JJ said. It's still bright enough to play outside.
And guess what? Said Tracy. Big Jake said we can play an extra hour if we stay close to home. JJ revved his engine.
Come on, Tracy, let's go play hide and seek.
High in the sky, a shadow streaked across the face of the moon. It was Savannah, and she was in a big hurry to get home. As soon as she landed, she raced to the control tower where Easy O'Malley was looking at the moon through a telescope. There's a monster storm blowing in from the west, Savannah reported. It'll be here in 20 or 30 minutes. One by one, the other planes gathered around. Through the telescope, Easy O'Malley saw dark clouds gathering in front of the moon. He turned to the planes and said,
There's nothing to worry about. If everyone pitches in, we'll be ready for the big storm before it hits. Snuffy, you alert the people in the valley. Big Jake, you haul some plywood to the terminal so we can board up the windows. That'll keep them from breaking. Herky, you stack those hay bales at the hangar entrance. That'll keep it dry inside. Brenda, you help old Oscar into the storm shelter. Shelter schmelter,
growled old Oscar.
I'm not going into that old cave.
But Oscar, the storm, Brenda Blue said sternly.
Just tie me down behind the hangar, Brenda. I like to see these big storms up close,
said the stubborn old biplane. Easy O'Malley continued giving directions.
JJ, you and Tracy round up anything loose that can fly around in the wind. JJ? Tracy? Where are JJ and Tracy?
I saw them leaving the hangar a little while ago,
Herky said. They wouldn't have gone far from home, said Savannah. I'll find them.
All right, but there's not much time before the storm hits, so let's get cracking,
Easy O'Malley said. As soon as the meeting ended, everyone had a job to do. Snuffy flew out over the valley, and in the darkening sky he wrote, Storm coming. Take shelter. With a hook and cable, Herky carried large bales of hay to the workers who were barricading the hangar. Savannah looked everywhere for Tracy and JJ. Tracy, JJ, where are you? Where are you? But there was no sign of the little jets. Big Jake hauled a load of lumber to the terminal where Easy O'Malley boarded up windows and doors. As Brenda Blue secured old Oscar behind the hangar, he laughed and shouted.
I love a good storm, don't you, Brenda?
Old Oscar's belly laugh was cut short when a gust of wind blew a newspaper smack dab into his face. The storm was getting closer, and Savannah was running out of time. Tracy, JJ, where are you? She hollered. JJ flew up behind her.
Here I am, Savannah.
She spun around and gasped, "Oh, JJ, thank goodness you're all right. Where's Tracy?"
That's what I'd like to know, JJ said. We're playing hide and seek, and she's hiding.
Hiding? JJ, a huge storm is about to hit. We have to find her right away.
Don't worry, Savannah. We'll find her, JJ said confidently. I always win at hide and seek. Blow and blow.
Savannah and JJ checked in with Easy O'Malley at the hangar. "Has Tracy shown up?" Savannah asked.
No sign of her here.
Easy O'Malley said.
Give me a few more minutes, said JJ. I'm sure I can find her.
No time left, JJ. Better head for the shelter before it's too late.
"But Easy, what about Tracy?" Savannah asked.
Don't worry. I'll keep looking for her,
Easy O'Malley said.
I'm sure we'll find her safe and sound.
As the storm rolled in, old Oscar was enjoying himself.
You call this a storm? I find it quite refreshing.
The planes lined up as Easy O'Malley and Brenda Blue opened the doors to the mountainside shelter. Easy O'Malley thanked everyone for pitching in.
I'm proud of you,
He hollered above the wind.
Thanks to all of the fine teamwork, the storm won't be causing any problem around here.
Turning to JJ, Savannah said, "I sure hope Easy can find Tracy before the storm gets much worse."
I can't figure it out, said JJ. I know all her hiding places, and she wasn't in any of them.
JJ was the first to enter the tunnel that led to the large shelter inside the mountain. When he emerged from the tunnel, a big surprise was waiting.
Tracy!
He cried. "Pretty good hiding place, huh, JJ?" Tracy said with a grin. "Tracy, we were worried about you," said Savannah. "We thought you were lost in the storm." "Storm? What storm?"
Only the biggest storm of the century, JJ said.
"And I missed it?"
You missed this one, Herky said, but don't worry, there'll be another along in about 100 years.
In case you're wondering, old Oscar made it through the night without a problem. But he later admitted that next time, just for a change, he wanted to see what a big storm is like from inside the shelter. JJ and Tracy were working hard to learn the new route between Tarrytown and Frosty Pines. They studied the flight plan every day until they knew each and every mile by heart. Frosty Pines was a plum of an assignment. And any day now, either JJ or Tracy would be named to fly the route for Easy Airlines. The village of Frosty Pines was a beautiful ski resort in the northern mountains. Herky, who was an expert skier, loved the place. Every winter, he spent every spare moment skiing its magnificent slopes. In fact, the peppy little helicopter was known far and wide as the Ski King of Frosty Pines. The big day for JJ and Tracy finally arrived. Easy O'Malley was ready to announce his choice for the Frosty Pines route. He studied the little jets' faces, scratched his chin, and said,
You've both trained so hard. I'm faced with an impossible decision. I suggest we flip a coin to decide.
That sounds fair to me, JJ said. Sounds fair to me, too, said Tracy.
Easy O'Malley flipped the coin. While it was in the air, JJ called tails. The airline owner examined the coin and said,
Better luck next time, JJ. It's heads. That means Tracy gets to fly the new route,
Next morning, as she took off for Frosty Pines, Tracy was very excited. On the way, something unexpected happened. Herky popped out of the clouds.
Want some company to Frosty Pines?
He said with a grin. All the way there, Herky talked non-stop about his skiing, his cross-country skiing, his alpine skiing, his ski jumping, his ski medals and ski ribbons, his favorite ski runs. By the time they reached Frosty Pines, Tracy was ready for a little peace and quiet. As she circled to land, Herky took off for the snowy slopes. Back at Tarrytown Airport, JJ told Big Jake how disappointed he was over not getting the Frosty Pines route.
I know you're disappointed, but if you're patient and keep working hard, one day you'll get your own route too.
After a long layover, Tracy began her return trip to Tarrytown. She was only a few miles from Frosty Pines when she heard Herky call out.
Hey, Tracy, wait up!
All the way home, Tracy listened as Herky talked and talked and talked about his great day of skiing. Arriving back at the hangar, Tracy saw that JJ was unhappy. JJ, you're upset about not getting the Frosty Pines route, aren't you? She said.
Yes, I am,
JJ said with a sigh.
You know what, JJ? I can't enjoy flying the route if you're unhappy about it. Thanks, Tracy. That's nice of you to say. But what do you think we should do? Why don't you fly with me to Frosty Pines tomorrow? She said. That'll give us plenty of time to figure things out.
Next morning, as Tracy and JJ were on their way to Frosty Pines, Herky popped out of the clouds.
Mind if I tag along?
He asked. Herky, if you don't mind, JJ and I need some time alone to talk, Tracy said.
Why don't you fly ahead, said JJ. We'll catch up with you in Frosty Pines.
Herky didn't understand why his friends didn't want to fly with him. As he turned and headed for Frosty Pines, all he knew was that they seemed troubled about something. Out on the slopes, Herky couldn't get JJ and Tracy out of his mind.
Maybe they're mad at me,
he thought.
Maybe they don't like me anymore.
Herky was thinking so much about his friends, he forgot to pay attention to his skiing. All of a sudden, he found himself rocketing down the steepest, most treacherous ski jump in Frosty Pines. Faster and faster he sped downward. Then, zooming off the end of the jump like a lopsided cannonball, he tumbled and toppled higgledy-piggledy through the air. And before he could right himself, he landed kersplat.
Oh.
Rotors first in a mound of soft snow. He wasn't hurt, but he was hopelessly stuck upside down in the cold, cold snow. Herky examined his predicament, then muttered to himself,
How embarrassing.
By the time JJ and Tracy arrived, a huge crane was about to lift Herky out of the snow.
Herky, are you all right?
Tracy asked.
I think so,
Herky said.
Anything we can do to help?
Asked JJ.
Well, yes,
Herky said, his teeth chattering from the cold.
You can answer one question. Do you still like me? Of course, Herky. We love you,
JJ said. Herky grinned.
And we can still have fun together? Well, yesterday I was thinking that your ski stories were getting kind of old,
Tracy said.
But you know, I've decided that I like your old stories. That's good,
Herky said.
I have hundreds of them.
As the three friends flew home, JJ and Tracy told Herky about their dilemma.
The problem is, Herky, the Frosty Pines route is something both of us really want,
Tracy said.
That's no problem,
announced Herky.
You can both fly the route. But how?
Asked JJ. Herky rolled forward like a bowling ball, smiled at his friends, and said,
You can share it, to take the turns. Of course,
Tracy cried.
I can fly half the time. JJ can fly the other half.
JJ broke into a big smile and chirped,
Great idea, Herky. Thanks a lot.
Herky grinned and said,
Now that that's settled, let me tell you about the time I skied at the North Pole.
One winter morning, Snuffy awoke in a wonderland. A frosty white blanket of snow covered everything in sight. Snowflakes fluttered in the breeze like billions of baby butterflies. There was something special in the air, something enchanting. And it wasn't just the snow. Across the tarmac near the terminal, Snuffy saw old Oscar staring at a huge snowman. He rushed over to investigate, but as he did, old Oscar hurried away. The little Skyrider moved up close to get a good look at the snowman. He had a carrot nose, big button eyes, and a smiling mouth made with pieces of coal. A long blue scarf was tied around his neck, and on his head sat a big black derby with a pink hatband. As Snuffy studied the snowman, he got the strange feeling that the snowman was studying him.
What do you think, Snuffy?
It was a voice out of nowhere. Snuffy spun around, and there was Brenda Blue, the airline's ace mechanic.
I made him all by myself,
she said. Snuffy was very impressed.
Gee, Brenda, he's great. You know, he almost looks alive.
Later that day, Snuffy joined JJ, Tracy, and Savannah on a sightseeing trip to the nearby hills. They stopped at Savannah's favorite overlook. It was the perfect spot for taking in a grand view of beautiful Tarrytown Valley. Above the snow-covered landscape, white puffy clouds floated high in the sky.
Look, that cloud looks like a big fish,
JJ said.
I see it. And there's one that looks like a flower,
said Tracy.
Yes, it looks like a daisy, doesn't it?
Savannah said. Snuffy thought that he saw something else.
Do you see that cloud that looks like a snowman?
He asked. JJ didn't see it. Tracy didn't see it, nor did Savannah.
There he is, going behind that big cloud on the right,
Snuffy cried. But his friends still didn't see it. Snuffy began to think that what he had seen wasn't a cloud at all, but a real snowman. When it was time to go, he decided to stay a little longer to watch the clouds for the snowman in the sky. As soon as the others had gone, Snuffy returned his gaze skyward, and within a few moments, the snowman reappeared. He smiled at Snuffy, then flew out of the clouds and swooped down toward the hilltop. Circling just above Snuffy's perch, the snowman said,
"Want to come fly with me?" "Fly with you?"
Snuffy couldn't believe it.
"Sure, I'd love to fly with a snowman."
And with that, they took off together for the sky blue sky. Snuffy thought his flying companion looked a lot like the snowman that Brenda Blue had made. He had a carrot nose, big button eyes, and a smiling mouth made of coals. He wore a long blue scarf and a big black derby with a pink hatband.
How curious,
Snuffy thought. Then he said,
I didn't know snowmen could fly. Dreaming, soaring, life is never boring with magical, imaginal eyes. Since I found them, I've never been without them, my magical, imaginal eyes. You never can guess what you'll see in the sky. A book on the wing, a duck in a tie. Why, even a train or a snowman might fly with my magical, imaginal eyes. with my magical, imaginal eyes.
After a fun flight, Snuffy landed back at the hilltop. As the snowman was circling to say goodbye, a gust of wind blew his hat straight up into the sky.
Whoa, there goes my Debbie.
He cried.
I'd better go get it.
Snuffy watched until the snowman disappeared into the clouds. As soon as Snuffy got back home, he sped across the tarmac to see if the snowman was there. Sure enough, there he stood. Carrot nose, big button eyes, smiling mouth, long blue scarf. But there was one thing missing. His big black hat with the pink hat band. Snuffy greeted the snowman with a smile and said,
I guess you couldn't find your hat.
The snowman said nothing. He just stared straight ahead. Just then, Brenda Blue walked up holding the snowman's derby.
Guess what, Snuffy? Big Jake found this hat way across the valley,
she said.
How do you think it got there?
Snuffy asked. Brenda Blue looked puzzled. Good question, Snuffy. I guess it was the wind.
Yes, it was probably the wind.
Early the next morning, Snuffy rushed out of the hangar to see the snowman.
I'll meet you at the hilltop,
Snuffy whispered.
We can fly all day long.
The snowman made no reply. From the hangar, old Oscar watched as Snuffy sped down the runway. The little Skyrider was looking forward to another fun day with his new friend. And as he flew across the valley, he sang the snowman's song.
Dreaming, soaring, life is never boring with magical, imaginal eyes.
My dandy, always keep 'em handy. My magical, imaginal eyes.
Suddenly, Snuffy heard another voice singing the song. He spun around expecting to see the snowman. But instead, much to his surprise, it was old Oscar.
Oscar, how do you know the words to the song?
Snuffy asked.
You know what, Snuffy? I'd forgotten all about that song until I heard you singing it,
old Oscar said.
But Oscar, how did you learn the song in the first place?
Well, son, many, many years ago, when I was about your age, on a snowy day just like today, a strange thing happened.